So we're going to start Memala. Memala Amar Aleph, 41a, and we'll start 7 lines from the bottom, Taner Rabbanan. Last word on the line. Okay, so we had a machlokes between Reb Shimon and the Chachamim with a woman that gives birth with a cesarean if she's tamei. Is that considered a birth? To make her tamei, mafleda, and all of that. Reb Shimon said yes, it's a regular birth. The Chachamim said no, that she's not tamei unless it's a natural birth. So Taner Rabbanan. Morning. It was taught in a Bais. If a woman is having labor pains for 3 days and she's seeing blood, now the rule is that labor pains purify the blood. They make it that she's not a zava, she's just giving birth. Normally, if she sees blood 3 days straight during the 11 days between Nidda, she would be a zava gedayla. But over here, she was having labor pains, so we attribute the blood not to the ziva, we attribute it to the birth. So she's having these labor pains. And normally, she would then give birth, and it would just be a regular Leda, after which she doesn't even bring a carbon for her ziva. But over here, she gives birth, she doesn't give birth naturally, she gives birth with a cesarean. Because the labor pains can't be attributed to the birth according to the Chachamim, because it's not a birth. Rav Shimon says this is not a Yeledes B'Zayv. This is a regular birth. She has labor pains. There was no relief from the pains. She goes directly into the birth. She's tar. Well, tar from Ziva. She's tar. Okay. Now, this Bais says something that's going to be very confusing, and we're going to go through several explanations for it with the following statement. The Tanakama says that the blood that comes from that area, we don't know what misham is. That's a problem. It's this ambiguous pronoun. Let's assume, when you read it, you assume that it's coming through the cesarean. Talking about a cesarean, it's coming out through the surgery. So Tanakama says that it's tamei, but Reb Shimon mitar, and Reb Shimon says it's tar. We're going to go through. It's not so clear what this means. Let's see. Okay. Bishlei Maresha, Reb Shimon l'tamei. We understand the beginning of this because Reb Shimon goes according to his reason that a cesarean birth is a birth. Rabbanan l'tamayo, and the Rabbanan go according to their reason, which is that a cesarean birth is not a birth. So Yeledes B'Zayv, it's going to be a regular Yeledes B'Zayv because that was blood that didn't follow through to a birth. Okay, El Seifa b'may pligi. But what's the machlokes in the Seifa? We said that the blood is tamei. So the woman, according to the Tanakama, is a Zayv. According to Reb Shimon, is Leda. The blood, according to the Tanakama, is tamei. According to Reb Shimon, the blood is tar. Let's see. Reb Shimon holds that that's considered a regular birth, a cesarean. Reb Shimon shouldn't say that the blood is tamei. Reb Shimon should say that's blood from Leda. You see, I have two ways of viewing blood that comes from the uterus, but not through the natural opening. I could say, oh, it's just a wound, and it's not tamei blood. But I can say, no, this is tamei blood. Now, Reb Shimon, you would assume, would be the one that would say, well, that's sort of like a way of giving birth, so that should be the blood of birth, which is tamei. Well, tamei like Nidda or Ziva, like Nidda would be tamei. And the Chachamim who say that's so unnatural, they would be the ones that say that, that's just a wound. That's what it would sound like. And it's really the opposite. The Chachamim say the blood's tamei, and Reb Shimon said the blood's tar. So Amar Ravina. Ravina says, the child is born cesarean. V'dam derech rechem. However, the blood came through the natural opening.
That's possible, right? Both are possible. And sequencing.
Right. It's just a possible, this happens where a woman is in labor and then at the end they do a surgery for whatever complications. So, what we're going to say is like this. What they mean is that the blood, Reb Shimon is saying, the blood came first. And then there's a birth.
The blood through the womb came first.
The blood came first through the womb, through the natural opening. Mm-hmm. And then there's a birth. Reb Shimon says that blood is not Tamei Zayif because it was a birth afterwards. So it's really just a continuation of exactly what we said before. Fits perfectly. It's a continuation of what we said before.
That's similar to when they had the labor 2 days before. We didn't count them.
Right. Right, exactly as we're saying. That if the birth follows the labor, so the blood is tar, and that's Reb Shimon's Shita. Maskef Rabbi, Rabbanan L'Tamayim, the Rabbanan go according to their opinion. Let's say there was no birth here, so therefore the blood is Tamei Ziva. Maskef Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Yosef has a question. Chada Dahainu Reisha. First of all, then you're making the second part of the Mishnah redundant. You already said that. That's the ratio. But another problem. Misham makam vlad mashma. That pronoun, the way you used, that's not a pronoun, it's this preposition. It doesn't tell you. From there, it is a pronoun. From there, preposition pronoun. From there, right? So, V'dam hayotze misham, the blood that comes from there, what's the there? It sounds like where the birth is coming from.
What's she doing?
So Makam Vladmash, it sounds like it's coming through where the fetus is coming from, which is not through the natural opening, through the cesarean. So our pshat in the Gemara is not going to fit. Elam Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Yosef attempts his own pshat. We're discussing here blood and fetus are coming through the cesarean opening. Look, blood comes from the uterus. Doesn't mean that the uterus is tamei. It doesn't just mean that blood that comes from the uterus is tamei. Is the uterus really tamei? Or is the uterus tar and the blood that comes from it is tamei? Maybe it's only the blood that's tamei. So this is a machlokes. Blood that comes from the uterus. What about, now usually nothing gets inside the uterus and we should have this question, because even if something does get inside, we would say that it's maga besa starim or whatever. But over here where we have an opening and there's blood that touched tahor blood that's touching the uterus, we might say that this blood becomes tamei because it touched the uterus. So that's makar. Makar means the uterus. Makar tami, it itself is tami. Mar seven makar tami. One holds the Rabbanan that say that it's tami. They hold makar tami. And the Mar seven makar tami. Reb Shimon says no. No, it's a discussion. Yes, there's a birth going on, but the question is, what about just this blood? Is the blood itself tami simply because it touched the uterus? And is the uterus considered a source of tumah, just like because it touched it? It's really, the blood would only be tummy if it comes naturally. This is blood from a wound that touched the uterus. Happens to be the uterus is the wound, and the blood came from there. So we're discussing maga, the tumah of touching. Okay. That is Rabbi Yosef's opinion. Amar Reish Lakish. Reish Lakish is going to confuse us a little bit. There's going to be a machlekes Reish Lakish and Rabbi Yochanan here, and Rabbi Yochanan is going to accept the opinion of Rabbi Yosef that we just said, and Reish Lakish is going to throw in a new factor. So let's see. Amar Reish Lakish. Reish Lakish says, "L'divrei hamitame b'dam." According to the one that says that the blood is tamei, mitame b'isha. They say this is the chachamim, but what they're saying is they say that not just is the blood tamei, but the woman is also tamei. This is considered like she's getting like nida. She's becoming a nida. It's interesting because l'divrei hamatar b'dam, which is Reb Shimon, matar b'isha, says that the woman is totally pure. Now the exception to that would be Yoledes, because Reb Shimon holds that the woman's pure from nida ziva, but he does hold that this is a regular birth. So it's very odd that it should be nothing for nida and ziva, but it should be a birth. It should be an entirely regular birth. But that's Reish Lakish's opinion. Rabbi Yochanan says no, that's not the machlekes over here. The machlekes over here is back to what Rabbi Yosef said. Aflo divrei hamatami b'dam, even according to the Tanakama, that says that the blood that comes through the cesarean is tamei because it touched the uterus. Mitar b'isha. They say the woman is still tar. The woman doesn't become tamei when the blood comes through the cesarean opening. And so why is the blood tamei? Because makar mitame, it touched the uterus, and the uterus is the source is the source of tamei. The uterus itself is tamei. Just touched it. And according to Reb Shimon, he says touching the uterus is tar.
Blood circulates throughout the body a whole month. And I'm sure during the course of the month, the blood in the arm touched the uterus before. It's hard to understand that touching the uterus makes the blood tamei.
Okay, so you'll have to accept two possibilities. One possibility is that maybe the circulatory system that wasn't so clear, and at least the way that they're learning it, that would be the modern answer. The other answer would be, the halachic answer would be that it could be something. It could be tumas beis hastarim, that it's touching that we don't see is not considered touching. So all of that doesn't matter. It's only once there's an opening, it touches it when it's open. The blood that touches when it's open, that could be the.
I was trying to imply that it's not enough to touch; it's to touch and come out. You have to come out from that source. Just touching alone.
Well, if we would
Because
say,
touching
if we
alone
would
was the
say,
issue, then all the blood touched at
Right.
one time.
right. Normally we say that. That's where there's a surprising opinion here.
That's the next one.
No, just 1 second. Now, 1 second. I have to go back because how does? Yeah, I'm not sure how Reish Lakish, how he wants to say that according to the Chachamim, the woman is a mamish a nida when the blood comes through the cesarean opening. We had other sources that said that it needs to come the Basara, it has to come naturally. I don't know if there's any comments or anything on that. Yeah, unless he argues on that. It's going to say, okay, yeah. What's the Rabbi Yochanan l'tamei? Rabbi Yochanan goes according to his reasoning. Rabbi Yochanan mishum Reb Shimon ben Yochai. Rabbi Yochanan says the name of Reb Shimon ben Yochai. By the way, we're discussing Reb Shimon ben Yochai here. So, how do we know that a woman isn't tamei unless the blood flows through the natural opening? The man lays with the woman and reveals her erva, so and she has a flow. This is during her nida, so malamed That tells me that the only flow that she would make her tamei is if it comes naturally. Okay, we don't have the explanation for Reish Lakish's opinion. Reish Lakish quotes now Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya. See, on the charts we have Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. He had two children, Rabbi Gamliel and Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Gamliel, his son, according to the chart, is Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya. That's the way they differentiate between Rabbi Yehuda Nasi and his grandson, Rabbi Yehuda. Instead of Hanasi, it's Nasiya.
There's three different sages who were known by this name. Each one was the grandson of his namesake. The first of them during the first and second generations of the Amoraim in Eretz Yisrael was the son of Rabbi Gamliel, who was himself the son of Yehuda Nasi. In order to distinguish him from his grandfather, also named Yehuda, the grandson was called Yehuda Nasiya, Aramaic form of Yehuda Nasi. Like his grandfather, he sometimes referred to simply as Rabbi. The grandson of this Rabbi Yehuda, the disciple Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish, was also known as Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya. The grandson of this later Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya, a fourth generation of Moran Israel, and a contemporary Rabbi Yirmiyah, was likewise called by the same name. So there's three Rabbi Yehuda Nasiyas.
Wow.
It doesn't say which one this was.
Well, it sort of does. Because it says Amarish Lakish Mishum Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya, it would have to be the first one. Rish Lakish is saying in the name of Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya, which is interesting. I have to say in the name. Okay. It goes like this. He has an interesting question. Makar Shinekar v'nafalaretz t'mei. If the uterus collapses and it falls out. No, there's usually the uterus is intact and the blood, the lining of it collapses regularly and it comes out and she bleeds. Here, the actual uterus somehow got disconnected and it's falling out maybe in chunks or pieces.
It's called a prolapse. It's inverting and coming out. It can happen to any
but
all the pressures.
It's actually pieces of the actual uterus, though, that are coming out.
Well, I guess once the whole thing, is that what you're saying? Or you're just saying it is coming out?
It's either it or pieces. So, what does he say? He says it's tummy, the woman's tummy. Shenema, he quotes a pasuk. Yan hashafech nechushtech betigli arvasech. You have nechidaseh. Yan hashafech nechushtech betigale arvasech. Okay, not bad. So, because your nechushtech is your innards, your foundation, okay, was poured out and your erva was revealed, exposed. So we're talking about that the uterus itself is poured out, not that it's emptied out, but the uterus itself comes out. And that's the pasuk that tells us that the woman's tummy. Lamai, what type of tummy is here? Eily Shiva, we're talking about that she's a Nidda, Ziva, or something like that. A 7-day tumah. Probably Nidda. Tumah Shiva must be Nidda. Rashi says Nidda. Damam Rachman of Leichaticha. The Torah says that blood it makes her tummy, not pieces of flesh. Elo Tumas Erev must mean that she's just tummy for the 1 day. And why? Because she touched the uterus, which that's Makam Kaimitame. The uterus itself is tummy. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan says, Makar, the uterus, Sheizia Kishteti Margalias, Tameya, that it sweat 2 pearls, which means some white fluid came out. It's tummy. Lamai, what type of tummy is this? Ilim Latama Shiva. Are you talking about she's tummy for 7 days? Chamisha damim tmeim b'yishuv v'sulai. There's only 5 shades of blood, and this is not one of them. Ella l'tzamas erev. It must be that she's only tummy for the evening.
I thought we have 4 shades.
4 shades and plus black, which is one of them. Just Ella shalaka, spoiled red. V'dafka tarti, and it's only if there's 2 pearls. Abel chada ema me'alma asya. But if it would just be one, we would say that maybe it didn't come from the uterus. Okay. Kolanatim tam besachitzim, it says in the Mishnah that all women are tamei, become tamei when the blood is even inside the body, even before it exits the body. In that area, there's the uterus, and then there's the like a canal, the cervix, and then there's whatever the area, canal area. So those that area, a woman would be tamei already. The Daf Yomi is not a halacha here. The cervix itself, I believe, is considered. I think it's considered outside. I think it's two asses. Is that what it's called? There's an as.
External walls.
And I
So
think
external walls is all the controllers.
okay.
Internal walls.
So in the external one, it's considered out. It's considered outside.
Definitely is.
Okay. So, Hainu Beisachitzin. What's the Beisachitzin? Reish Lakish, I don't have the scientific words for any of this, so let's see. Reish Lakish says, Kol shetinekes yeshus v'niris. We're talking about an area with this. It's coming from the private area. It's saying, what is the Beisachitzin that a girl would be tamei, that a woman would be tamei? If it would be a young girl and she would be sitting, and that part of her body would be exposed when she's sitting. This would like open up a certain amount when she's sitting down. She's crouching down, so it would open a little bit. That's considered the Beisachitzin, and that's if the blood goes to that area, that's where she's tamei. Who's saying this? This is Reish Lakish. Amalei Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan says, "Oisi makam gali yoetzel sheretz." That's so exposed that if a sheretz would touch there, that would be considered tamei, because if a sheretz touches something that's in, if it's called tumas beis hastarim, if it would be concealed, then it would not be considered tamei. But this is like the external part of her body, which is, this is not a like she's tamei inside her. This is totally outside. This is the exposed part. Ella Rabbi Yochanan. Rather, Rabbi Yochanan says, Ad bein hashinayim. You have a comment on it, bein hashinayim? This says, well, bein hashinayim means teeth-like projection. But what is the scientific term for that? Doesn't tell us. We'll get to it in a moment. Yeah, apparently there's folds of flesh, and these folds of flesh are considered like teeth. Yeah, but I'm looking for a scientific word of that those pieces of flesh. Okay, so that's the area. And once the blood reaches that area, she's tamei. We'll get to that in a second. They have a question. What about the Bein Hashinayim themselves? This area, is that considered inside or outside? Sounds like a Rabbi type of question, right? It's what about the place itself? Is that in or out? Right? So Tashma, come and listen. Tani Reb Zakkai says Ad Bein Hashinayim Atzum Klifnim. That's considered inside. It has to go past the Bein Hashinayim. That's when she's going to be tamei. Tana, the Masnisa Tana was taught in the Mishnah. Makam disha. Disha literally means thresh, but my makam disha. The Gemara says, what does it mean thresh? What's Amar Rabbi Yehuda makam shemesh dash? This is shemesh is a euphemistic term for a male organ. Shemesh, that's what it's called, and it would be as far as the shemesh could reach. That's the place that would be. After that place, it would be inside. Tana Rabbanan. Start in a brisa.
Maybe it says shama.
Oh, really?
I'm not
Yeah, maybe. I never looked like that.
And they put the
Shamash? It's funny. All my years in yeshiva, we said shemesh, and we just like thought, what an interesting term. Okay, Tanu Rabbanan. It was starting in the Bais b'Sara. You're probably right. In the flesh, she becomes tummy in the flesh. Malame. This teaches us shemetame b'fnim kibachutz. That she becomes tummy inside, just like the blood would come outside. She's already tummy before it exits the body. I only know this by a nida that the blood inside the body already makes her tummy. What about zava? Doesn't say. The pasuk actually by nida actually uses the word zaiva. Zaiva means to flow. Now, the technical term zava means that it's not during the regular time. But nevertheless, that term is used, and then the Gemara tells us that the fact that it uses that term tells us that a zava is also tamei when the blood is inside. Now, let's say the woman has inside of her shichva zera. Now, normally, she's tummy from blood even before it exits the body. She's also has a status of a peleta shichva zera, a woman that emits the shichva zera from her husband. That would make her tummy as well. So where would it make her tummy? When it leaves the body, or already in those areas where Nidda blood would make her tummy? That's an interesting question. Talmud Laimar, it says Yiya. She's tamei even inside. Reb Shimon Amidaya Kabbalah. Reb Shimon says no. She has the same status as regular shechva zera, which comes from a man. Ma it's just like by a man, shechva zera only makes him tamei after it ejects from the body. Also her, she's only tamei after it leaves from the body. Not inside. In other words, we're going to divide up here. There's tumas that apply to a woman, that's inside. There's tumas that apply to a man that are after they leave the body. And if it happens to be that this woman has the tumah that normally would apply to him, it would have to have the man status of that's Reb Shimon's opinion. Okay. And the Tanakama held that no, that it's the fact is this is the woman's tumah. And it makes her tummy even inside. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so if the uterus is tummy, does that mean every baby that's born is tummy at birth?
I think the uterus is something. The uterus is the give off tumor.
No, but we're saying that anything that touches the uterus.
Yeah, but I already asked that question.
You mean with the blood?
What are you supposed to
Can't
do?
be that everything that touches the uterus is tumor. It makes no sense.
This is right there. This is not just circulating blood. The fetus is right there.
Three of other internal organs that touch the uterus.
What about water?
Yeah. If you have a water birth, you can resolve that issue. The baby's born in the mikveh. But I don't know. Okay. The Savar of Shimon. See, the reason why I don't know if we passed in Makar Mitami or not. Apparently we do. The same Makar Mitami. Okay, let's say we'd say Makar Mitami. Then it would just be Tumas Maga. It would just be like a Tumah for one day. You can go to the mikveh that day.
What about the baby?
And the baby, right. I don't know. The Savar Reb Shimon Daya Kabbalah. Does Reb Shimon really hold that this woman that's Peleta Shechva Zera? That means that she's releasing the Shechva Zera that was inside of her from Tashmish. That she only becomes tamei after it exits the body. But they start in a brisa. Barachatzu b'mayim b'tama adara. They should wash in water and they're tummy until the evening. This is talking about a regular tashmish that the person is a Valkyrie, and his wife has the same tumah until evening. Amar Reb Shimon. Reb Shimon says, what is this pasuk telling us? If it's saying someone touched shechva zera, she already said it. We have a pasuk. And the ish tells me that anyone that touches shechva zera is tummy. Ella, we have there's an issue over here. The extra I. Man has a shechva zera, so he's tummy. Ish says anyone that touches it is also tummy. So the woman here is touching the shechva zera. The only thing is, elam mipnei shetumas beis starmi, but the shechva zera is not in an exposed area. Tumas beis starim, it makes her. It will not make her tummy. The tumas beis starim in a metama. So therefore, regular maga, regular touching is not going to apply. Ela shigzer sakasavu, it's gzer sakasav. Now, what's our problem? We're saying that if it's gzer sakasav, it's a gzer sakasav, then we're not going to say that it's the same as her husband, or the same as the man. We're going to give it its own status. Its own status would be that it's not daya kabayala. It doesn't have the same tumah as the husband. It has her own tumah, which that would mean no, she's not just touching it because it's tumah space of starim. It's touching the inside, which doesn't count. So we should give her the status. We should make it tummy according to the criteria of her tumas, which is inside, which becomes tummy even when it's inside. Umar says, like Kasha. It's not a question. What we're talking about over there, that we have a chiddush, that's when she's having relations kan b'mishameshes. That's when she becomes tamei by the tashmish. Kan b'peiletes. Here, when it's coming out, over here we can say that she's tamei only after it comes out, just like the husband. Umar says, 1 second. Peiletes, I don't need a special halacha for that. Tebeklei da shimsha. She's tamei already from before. 1 second. How long can the zera last? 3 days, right? We learned that from Matan Torah. So, because it says they should separate for 3 days from beforehand, because that's the amount of time that the shechva zera can last. So here we're talking about that a woman becomes tamei by the tashmish because of the shechva zera, and then it comes out after. We're saying that when it comes out, she's tamei by tashmish. When it comes out, we have a special halacha that she's tamei only after it comes out, according to Reb Shimon. So 1 second. 1 second. She's tamei from before already. What are you telling me? She's tamei only when she's already tamei from 2 days ago. So Amarava, the Gemara. I'm sorry. Before Amarava, 1 line up from that. We're talking about that she went to the mikveh. The Meimra. The Mishameshes, the Tumas, Erev Sagila. You think she can go to the mikveh right away after Tashmish? If a woman is after relations, Rava says she should not eat truma for 3 days because it could be that the shechva zera is coming out. So she can't go to the mikveh just that morning. She has to wait 3 days. So what are we saying? That 3 days later, the shechva zera comes out. We're having a discussion. A machlokes Reb Shimon and the Rabbanan. Is she tummy when it's still inside? Is she tummy when it's outside? So, what are you talking about? She's tummy already from before. We answered no. She went to the mikveh. Rabbi says she can't go to the mikveh. Okay, this is getting extremely technical. Saying that she went to the mikveh while she's laying in the bed. They put her out like on a stretcher down into the mikveh. So therefore she didn't move. So there's no shechva zera. The same bed.
I finally understand that Mishnah of the bed going into the mikveh, right?
Uh-huh.
The last Mishnah they say before the Rabbanan.
Right.
Who puts his head in and cries? No, the feet in the mouth. It's her feet.
He's alive.
No, but
He's back.
but in those days they would put beds in the mikveh.
He used to put beds on it. It was very popular.
The water brush.
If he didn't wake up, they would put him in there. This is an alarm clock. Okay, so
Wait, could there be anything worse? These ones that know how when the baby's there and
What
in
do
order
you
for
think
them
the
to
saying system
the
and
milk
the
needs to get wet.
you never went to prepare it?
Once in a month, it is budget.
I don't remember. I remember vaguely what you're referring to. You have something about a baby nursing. That's something that was something. The milk was wet, and the milk was
The milk has to get wet,
milk
so you said that the milk has to go up and then it will get.
I remember
Yeah,
that
the what?
vaguely.
Milk has to get wet in order to come up.
We said 1
Oh,
second.
yeah.
We didn't
Yeah,
say.
I didn't know
We
it.
said milk was wet, but then the Gemara said, yeah, I remember very vaguely. I don't remember the details. You have a better memory.
Will that work with this?
Yeah, the difference is that over there, food needs to get wet. This was saying, what is the tumah here? Just the blood touched it. I guess it'd be mashma, just to make it liquid. Okay. So she's being immersed on the bed, so therefore she's not piletes. She's not releasing the shechva zera that she has because she's laying flat. So horizontal. The chikam Rava michlal. This implies the chikam Rava that what was Rava talking about, that she can't go to the mikveh for 3 days, must have been dasli bekari v'tavla, that she's going on her feet and she's going into the mikveh. So 1 second, Vilma bahadi the kazla shadisa. Maybe while she's walking, it falls out. The chitem, and if you'll say Vilma shtayer, that well maybe it didn't all fall out, so she shouldn't go to the mikveh. And that's what Rava is concerned about. Yachi chashinan sheman shtayer mi. We should suspect maybe there's left. Rava's term was efshar shleitil. It's impossible. According to what we're saying here, where she's walking around, not impossible. It's possible that there's still some left. And Rava's term was not so accurate. Rather, we have to change it. We have to say the case of Rava is that really she's also going to the mikveh in a bed. There's no question. Depends. Did she roll over while she's in the bed? If she rolled over, then it could fall out. And it's impossible that it didn't all fall out. And it's, well, more than that. It's impossible that it didn't all fall out. And so therefore, she has to wait 3 days. But
I'm confused. She went to the mikveh. She's taught her because she has some stuff left over. She can possibly become retummy.
right. Yeah.
Doesn't the mikveh purify everything?
No. It's like Toivel V'Sheretz B'Yadei. Now, what's inside of her totally is not going to be Tamei. Because it's Tumas Beis Hastarim. Doesn't make her tummy just because it's touching her. We're talking about, according to Reb Shimon, that holds that she becomes tummy when it exits her. So, if it exits her within 3 days, that would make her tummy. Rashi has another pshat. Not much. But nevertheless, that's what we're discussing. Talking about a case where she went to the mikveh. Now, yeah, it's only for Tara. It doesn't. There's no halachic. There's no. It's only for pure loss of purity.
Even after going to mikveh, she couldn't eat film. What was the purpose of going to mikveh?
Well, if she did not turn over, then she would be allowed to eat truma. Rabba's case is that if Rabba says that. That's what Gemara's conclusion is. That if she turns over, then that's when Rabba said that she can't go to the mikveh for 3 days. But if she didn't turn over,
So if she didn't know, she lies flat the
lies
whole
flat.
time.
You can give
Presumably the
her
stuff is still in
truma
there.
straw to drink the truma. Rashi has another shot in Misapiases that has to do with how she's her position by Tashmish. It's an interesting shot.
This is also by a man, I think that when a man has relations, if you go to the mikveh, if the man goes to the mikveh afterwards, before he had urinated,
Right.
and then he urinated after the mikveh,
Right.
that's what the mikveh.
Right. We learned that I think it depends on his age. Depends on his age.
I remember that.
He can tie his shoe while he's standing on one foot. I think Umar said. That means he's young. They can remember the Gemara like that. Yeah, I think we had that. We had that. I think in, I don't know. I don't remember one of them. Rabbi Akrakai. Rabbi is referring to a pasuk, V'achikama, and this is what he means. Kikas of Rahmana. When does the Torah say the Eibishter say Brachatzu b'mayim v'tamadara b'sheinim esapachas? When does it say that she goes to the mikveh and then she's tummy until evening, but that evening she's going to be tired? That's when she doesn't turn over. But if she does turn over, then all 3 days she's also to eat truma, which means she can't go to the mikveh. She actually because it's impossible for her not to release any of the shechva zera, which would make her tummy again. Shmuel bar Bisna has a question from Abaya. What's going on over there? We've been very vague when we're discussing this, but is she considered like a woman that has a sighting of blood, and here she has a sighting of shechva zera, which is not her own, which is coming out of her? Is she considered like she touched something tummy, or is she considered like it's tuma hayotzei migufay, that it's like nida ziva peleta shechva zera? Or is she considered like she touched the sheretz? She touched the creeping creature. She touched it touched her, and it's like touching, just a tumah touch. Where it says v'nafkamina, the difference is lister ulatami b'mashu ulatami b'pnim k'bachutz. Very important nafkaminas. Let's say she's in the middle of counting the days of Ziva, and for somehow there's shechva zera inside of her. She needs 7 clean days. So if she touches a sheretz, if she touches something that's tamei, she continues counting. It doesn't affect her clean days. But if she has some sort of sighting of the tumah that comes from her body, so then this would cancel at least a day of those 7 clean days. So it makes a big difference. Another difference is that normally when you touch something, there needs to be a certain size of tumah there. That size is kadasha, the size of a lentil, or maybe shechva zera. We said the size was what could cover the opening of the pia ama, of the bris, just that we could seal the top. Or is she tummy inside like outside? If it's touching, then you're only tummy if it touches the outside. Things that touch the inside are not tummy. They don't give off a tummy. So the Gemara that's the question. Reb Shmuel bar Bisna's question from Abaya. It says Manavshach. 1 second. Ishmi alei masnisen. If he knows the Mishnah, l'Rabbanan raya have l'Reb Shimon legas have. We had a masnisa. It's supposed to be masnisa, not a Mishnah. If we saw the brisa. The brisa says. The brisa that says Tanu Rabbanan, Bibesara, it concludes with Yiyeh, that Peleta Shechva Zera is tummy inside. And Reb Shimon says, Daya Kabbalah, it's only tummy after it exits, which means that according to Reb Shimon, it's Tumas Maga, and according to the Rabbanan, it's Tumas Raya. It's because she's seeing, it's already tummy inside. V'loishmi alei masnisa, it's correct again. And if he doesn't know the Mishnah, so then he's only asking from logic. If you're using logic, well, the logic is very clear. If you don't have any information and you're just coming to us with logic, then it's obviously just touching. And so why does he even have a question? Umar says, really he knows about the Mishnah. And he wasn't asking according to the Rabbanan. According to the Rabbanan, it's definitely a raya. How could it be tummy inside if it's maga, if it's touching? It has to be a type of citing her own tumah. What is this question? This question is according to Reb Shimon. Definitely to make her tummy inside, that's not his question, because Reb Shimon clearly says that she's only tummy when it exits her. But there were two other factors here. The two other possibilities. Do you need a shear? And will it ruin the count of 7 days? According to Reb Shimon, he didn't mention that. Maybe if it exits a woman during the 7 clean days, she loses a day, or maybe not, or maybe she doesn't lose a day. Maybe it's just like touching. Touch the shirt, she doesn't lose a day. So what's the halacha? When did Reb Shimon say that she's like the same status? She's no worse than her husband, which was only tummy when it exits. That was only one case that he's referring to, one scenario, one halacha, that she's tummy only when it exits. But regarding the other halachas, excuse me, piletas is considered like she saw, and that means that it's going to upset the 7 clean days, and there's no amount necessary, even the smallest amount would make her tummy. Or maybe it's all the same. She's a regular maga touching for all halachas. Some say that really he never heard the Mishnah, the Bais rather. And he still has a question. In other words, we said, it's logical. Since by Sinai, Torah says that you have to separate for 3 days. That's because so we see that it's considered a raya. Or maybe we can't learn from Sinai. That's a chiddush. The Zavan and Mitzayra and the Chamiri, Zavan and Mitzayra, that are even more machmer. The tum over there is stronger. And layachmu rachmana, and there was no restrictions on them. Amalei, Abaya responds, Raya have it. After all of that, we have an answer that it's Raya. That means that there's no size of Tama, and there's also Tame. It will also break the 7 clean days. Let me just finish the land. Asa Shaili Larava, Amalei Raya. He then continued to ask the question. He was doing a survey here. He goes, he asks Rava. Rava says Raya have it. Also, come to Rabbi Yosef. He comes to Rabbi Yosef. Amalei Raya have it. He says Raya. It's all the same. Everyone's answering him the same. Hadar Asa Lakami Abai comes back to Abaya. Amalei, it says to Abaya, Kulcha Breika Chada Tapisu. You're all part of the same spit. That means you're all. There's nothing creative coming from you. Everyone's saying the same thing. Amalei Shaper Amalach. They all told you correctly. That's the conclusion. That the Pileta Shechvazara is really raya, except for that one aspect that it has to come out. I think the Zayar asked, where did they go to the mikveh? I think it says that the cloud was a mikveh. Thank you. I think it says the cloud was considered a mikveh.